I genuinely do believe that learning how to trade is one of the most profitable and powerful skills that you can learn in your entire life. And I don't say that lightly, because it really isn't just about the money. I feel as though it's mainly about the freedom that I guess money can bring, but it's about the control over your own life. And if I'm honest, it's one of the only skills that you can learn in your entire life where the ceiling of growth is relatively infinite. Now, I know some people are going to roll their eyes at that. They might laugh and tell you that you're not going to be part of the small percent of traders that actually make it. Because, I can't lie. There is a small percent of people that actually make it. But these people aren't going to be speaking from experience. They're going to be speaking from some sort of limitation, like fear or maybe envy that you might just be the one that makes it. They're never going to be speaking in a position where they want the best for you. The truth is, you do have the control over your future. In fact, you're kind of the only person that can change your life in the long term. If you're the kind of person that has the dedication and the motivation to work for somebody else your entire life, a 9-to-5, towards somebody else's dream, then clearly you have the skills and the willpower to work for yourself. Why don't you work a 9-to-5 for your own dream? I feel as though literally the only reason more people don't do this is because I guess with trading, nothing's guaranteed. It's always going to be considered a risk, but I feel as though that's kind of a given, I think anything worth doing, career-wise, is always going to be a risk if you want to make the big bucks. Because with trading, it is going to break your ego, and you are going to doubt yourself more than once. You're going to be losing money. Before you make money, you will lose money. And it is more or less, the whole question is, can you stick through that messy initial part? Because if you can, you're going to come out on the other side with a skill that most people in their entire life aren't going to be able to say they have. And that is the ability to generate wealth without depending on anybody else. And that in itself is absolutely priceless to me. Not waiting on a paycheck, not waiting on somebody to say that you can get paid, or determining how much your time is actually worth. Now, let's be real and actually talk about the trading part of it. A lot of you starting out probably think that trading is flipping 200 quid into 2,000 quid overnight, just over and over again, and that's how you make your money. The truth is, trading is actually a lot more simple than that. It's simple, that doesn't mean it's easy. The whole flipping money, I call that TikTok trading, and that's what's actually going to burn you out the quickest, because that isn't a consistently, viable strategy to make money. Instead, if I asked you if you'd be happy making, 3 to 5% returns on a consistent basis, let's say month to month, what would you say? I feel as though a lot of people are going to roll their eyes and just tell you that that's not a lot of money. Ask me the same question maybe a year and a half ago, and I'll tell you the same thing. 3 to 5% sounds like fuck all. The truth is, it really isn't. If you can make 3 to 5% consistently, I don't over-exaggerate when I say that you have the power to make millions. You have the skill to make millions. And if I mean consistently, where over a year you can make 3 to 5% every month, this is a 100% viable career for you, like long term. And when I clock that making, 3 to 5% can equate to these, like that kind of money, I think that's when it all just kind of changed for me. And when I clocked that, I realized you don't need to be scared and aim for something that seems so out of reach. It is about consistency in this game, and it's about dedication, and can you hold yourself accountable to, not over trades, because that can chip away really, really quickly. And I could pull out a compounding calculator and show you how fast making 3 to 5% can, compound in the long term, especially, that profitable equity curve. But honestly, it's even easier than that. And that's why it's just so achievable. Because we live in a time where prop firms exist, and people are literally asking to give you 100,000 plus in capital if you can pass this small challenge. Something like that didn't exist 10 years ago. And honestly, with regulations, who knows if it's going to exist 10 years from now. So I feel as though there has never been, and potentially will never be, a better time to make a fuck ton of money from your room, from your laptop, from your PC, even from your phone. Generations before us have done this, but they've taken a bigger risk. They've used their own money, or they've asked other people for money, maybe banks or investors, and that's what they've tried to, make these profits with. It's so much easier for us. Let that sink in. You literally have more access to funding than any previous generation. And it is kind of funny when I was complaining that I couldn't pass a challenge, year and a bit ago. You can't complain. If you have the option, you just can't complain. And if you have the skill and you can prove to yourself that you can pass even a phase or a challenge, then there is nothing stopping you from passing 3 more, 10 more, 100 more, and really stacking capital to a point where it can generate genuine wealth. I don't want to say the term generational, but like I was saying, you can get millions. So that's what I mean when I say there really is no limit to this skill specifically. But with all that being said, it is easier said than done, I guess, because to get your hands on this capital and to actually make money on top of this capital, you have to be a profitable trader, obviously. But that's the part that's actually going to take the most amount of time. And I'm not going to lie to you, it wasn't a super quick thing for me to do. It took me the better part of a year to actually start seeing, I wouldn't say consistent, but some sort of profits. And for me to genuinely think that, wow, this can go far. And that all kind of comes after you stop trading with emotional bias and you stop thinking that the market is against you. Because, it's true that liquidity seeks out people's stop losses, but you just need to read the market and move with the market. And I feel as though that's where supply and demand is kind of king. You're not trying to trade against the market or trade against other people. You're trying to move with everyone else, But if you stop over trading, revenge trading, and over risking, then you're gonna have nothing that's really gonna kill your consistency after that. If you're willing to get through that messy middle where maybe you are losing money to it because you're kind of like not in tune with your own emotions and your own senses, the phase where you keep failing, hopefully learning and adapting, you are literally going to come out on the other side with a skill that just prints money when it's done right. And in the grand scheme of things, it's easy to do it right. You just need to trust yourself. And you don't need to overcomplicate it either. I used to think that I had to understand every wick of every candle, every strategy. Just think, oh, this one strategy is going against me in this one specific trade, so I won't take it. But I promise you, the market doesn't care that much about you. It might be humbling to understand how insignificant you are. The market moves like billions and billions of dollars per day. Your trade isn't gonna move the entire market. You know what I mean? We're just a retail trader. What matters is whether you have a system that you can stick to, that you actually understand, and where you can be consistent enough to actually follow it through in the long term and understand like, shit, I need to understand and trust the process in the long term. That's kind of where you understand that it's not about mastering everything. It's about mastering what works for you. And what works for me and what I could understand is supply and demand, especially when I added liquidity. I'll have a full course coming up on all of that anyway. Now let's talk about the part that I feel as though really holds people back. And that's going to be undercapitalization. Most new traders think the reason that they're not rich is because they're not good enough. And getting better consistently is 100% why we do it. If we're not getting 1% better every day, then we're just going to be getting worse. And you do need to get better, especially when it comes to emotions and whatnot. But often, more times than not, the real issue when it comes to starting out trading is trying to make life-changing returns, supercar money or rent money, on life-destroying capital, like the money that you need for rent or groceries. If you're trying to flip a £100 account into rent money, then it's kind of like the pressure of that alone is going to destroy your discipline. And that's when you'll over leverage, you'll over trade, and you'll think that you're not good enough as a trader. And the profits that you may make may only be £5. But when you think about it, £5 if you were funded on £100,000 prop firm account, like I was just talking about, that could be the same as £500 or £5,000. So the goal isn't to get rich from the £100. It's to understand that it's all percentages, and that in the long term, if you stick to it, those percentages will change your life. You need to prove your consistency on the small capital, so then you understand that when I do get some money behind me and some capital funding behind me, Jesus Christ. See that? It just crashed. My bad, guys. Back to it. But yeah, that's how I did it. I proved to myself that I can make money when it's on the smaller term, and just kind of disassociated my emotions to the actual money that's being made. Start with a small personal account. You know, you kind of need to have risk going into it, so you understand that you are going to lose money and kind of get those emotions behind you to start with. And once you pass your first challenge, because you know you've been doing everything right, you're looking at it as percentages and not money, you'll kind of prove to yourself that it's not even about the charts anymore. Can your mind handle seeing thousands of dollars going up and thousands of dollars going down? When you're starting out, 100% not. 100%. I mean, I don't think anybody can. It's such a foreign term, going to work and losing money. And I feel as though it's one of the most unique jobs in that sense. But if you can, once again, the kind of limit to growth is exponential and has no ceiling really. I feel like one part that would be very dumb for me not to talk about was the sense of community and how important it is in the long term, especially with mindset, because the people that you know right now aren't going to be the people that you're kind of around long term, especially if you're just coming out of school and you don't really have those kind of friends that are going to stick around. Trading is kind of going to show which people are real and what's fake. I don't want to say it like in a cringe way, but it is so true. People don't like seeing what they're not comfortable with, and trading is uncommon and it's not seen as safe. People are going to be thinking that you're doing nothing, you know, just kind of like staying in your room all day, back testing, trying to understand the strategy through and through. And I mean, that's why I made a free Discord. I'm not trying to plug that, that's not the point of this segment. You just need to understand that you need to find like-minded traders and people that you can kind of just count on for accountability and just kind of like fill in the gaps where you're going wrong. Because you may be doing everything right, but maybe there's a mindset switch where you're not holding profits all the way, you're kind of just taking up one-to-ones, which you shouldn't be doing, especially with my strategy. We kind of thrive off those 1-to-3s consistently. So just flicking something like that really can change your trading from unprofitable or inconsistently profitable to consistent profits that can pass challenges, that can stack accounts. And I mean, I'm kind of fortunate enough to have friends. I used to have quite a few friends. I wasn't a very popular kid, but I did have a lot of friends and a lot of people that I could count on. And then I started to show some interest in making money from somewhere that isn't a normal job, and it did just sift through a lot of them. And now I'm kind of stuck with the realest of everybody that I knew. And I mean, my closest friend is once again another profitable trader. I really do believe that you are the average of the 5 closest people you're around. If they're a mirror image of what you want to be or what you're currently doing, once again, the accountability, there's no really like room for you to fail. Because if you do start going astray, they're going to tell you. They're going to show you that this isn't what you should be doing to get to the place where you want to be. And I feel like there's more than one time when I was held accountable by them, because human emotion can only go so far. Let's be for real. In the markets, we want to be robotic, but there is a specific, you know, threshold to where it is hard to be. Because I mean, losing money consistently, showing up to the markets every single day when you realistically don't have to, it's going to put a strain on you. So you need someone to show you, if you keep doing this, this is where you can be. And that's where I am now. I mean, that's just the kind of community that's really made me network, made me understand there's more to life than just making money from somebody else's wallet. So anyways, yeah, a link to that will be in the description. Once again, a free Discord. You don't need to pay to talk to like-minded people and just kind of learn where maybe you're falling short, so you can be the best version of yourself. That's what it all comes down to, getting 1% better every day, and people can show you how you can get 2% better in that one day, or just not go backwards. Anyways, peace out.